Okay, hey class, this is the 2.1.2 mass property submission sheet. Um, if you got this up, you've obviously got it off Frog. I want you to read through these procedures and follow them. I'm just going to go over them with you right now, and you're going to use this video also to kind of guide you. But what the directions say is we're going to recreate this product to these specifications. You're going to make it with me. Once we create it, we're going to set the material to mild steel. And we're going to take a screenshot of the material properties once it's set to mild steel and put that here. I'm going to put a screenshot of the object here once we've set the material properties or the material it's made of, and then a screenshot here of the material properties screen. After we've done that, you're going to answer these questions using this information right here on the material. You're going to answer the questions here underneath each one, putting the answer, but then you're going to put a screenshot of your work below. Just to give you an idea of what I'm looking for, this is kind of like how I'd like you to organize the work for it, and I'll be going over this with you in this video, okay? Once you've done that, you've done one of three of them. My video is then this video is going to walk through how to make this one and how to make this one. And at that point, you should have the skills you need in order to make it, minus maybe making this slot, which I'll go over with you real quick. Okay, and making these chamfers. I'll go over that with you at the end of the video also. All right, so we're going to recreate this object. What they did is they made the overall shape. They extruded it from a sketch. They then made a sketch on the right side and extruded those features to make the two slanted areas and the cut through. And then they did a sketch on the front, and they used that sketch to make the chamfers and the cuts on the left and the right side. So I'm going to follow the directions on the spec sheet, which is on the activity sheet. This would be the spec sheet right here. So I'm going to apply all this information. All right, so let's go ahead and make a part. So let's go to the little file icon and hit part. I'm going to left click on 2D sketch. I'm going to go ahead and click on this XY plane. Okay. On the XY plane, we are going to go ahead and make a rectangle sketch. So this is going to be the front face of it. If we're making the front face, what you are right now, so I left clicked, by the way. I hit rectangle, I left clicked, and I let go, and I just dragged over. I said, okay. 5.125 is the width. Hit tab. And the height now, let me scroll out. The height is going to be 1.75 and return. Okay. At this point, you can hit finish sketch and then go over here. You could hit then extrude, or from the sketch itself, you can just hit the letter E. It closes it and it's going to extrude it for you. There's only one thing to extrude, so it goes ahead and selects it for you. We want to extrude to a distance of 2.75. Okay, so this is your original machine block of mild steel that you're making this part out of, and you're going to need this later. So we're going to be coming back to it in this original form. Okay, next thing we need to do is do a sketch. So I clicked on sketch, left click on this face right here. You could do it on this face, but since it's already in this position, let's go ahead and do it on this face. So left click. We are going to make a line from pinned on this side to up here. We are going to set the distance from the bottom to the beginning of that at, bear with me, 1 inch. I had to look at the spec sheet. And it has the angle right here at 45. So it's on dimension. We're going to click on the angled line to this line, and that needs to be 45, and it nearly was. Okay, we're going to make a line on the other side just like it. If you start mousing over the line and you move up, it'll pin it right there. It says, hey, do you want it lined up with that one? I do, so left click. I'll come in here and I'm just going to put it right there. Okay, and hit escape. Okay, and now let's see here. Dimension from this line to this line. We want it to be 45 degrees. And just to confirm from the bottom, left click, and it is 1 inch. So we can hit escape. We don't need to force that constraint. It's already there. The last thing we need to do is we need to make a rectangle right about here. Okay, it goes down 0.75 and it is 0.625 wide. So I'm going to make that shape first. 0.625 and 0.75. Okay, now they don't show you the math for this, but if you take this distance and this distance and you get the difference between them and divide by 2, that's how much room you should have on each side. The other way to think about it is the center of this line or this box is going to be centered on this overall box, on that line of symmetry. It's easier just to do it this way, to dimension from here to here the distance that you need. I don't have that memorized, so let me come back here, come in here, go to that sketch, and you can see it right there. They have it as 1.0625. They use parametric constraints to do that, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to get into that right now. So 1.0625. So either side we could do it to, from there to there, 1.0625. And just to confirm, the other side should still be that same amount. And it is. Notice it says 0.063, but if you click on it, it's there for you. It's just rounded. Okay, so we got the features that we need. We're going to cut this in, and cut this in. So we're going to hit E for extrude, but we want to do this one, and this one. Oops, for whatever reason, it's not allowing me to click on this last one. Hit escape and go back into that sketch. I don't know what that is. That was getting in the way. Okay. Let me finish sketch. Let me hit E again. And again, it's not allow me to select it. So I don't want to start my video over again. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I did not connect from there to there. So that makes an issue. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish the line. Did there, like that. Finish sketch. Hopefully, E now. There we go. All right, so hopefully you didn't make that same mistake. So we don't want to extrude this way. We want to flip it. We want to cut through it. So it's cut. We just flip the direction. And for the distance, this one is cut through. So there we go. And I'm going to hit OK. So we now have those 45 chamfers on the side, or chamfers, as some people say. And we have this cut through, this slot right there. Okay, so put it into isometric. And put this one into isometric, and they're starting to look very similar. All right, we're going to come back to this one now. And we are going to do 2D sketch on this face right here. We need to project some geometry. And what projecting geometry is we're taking some lines and geometry from another sketch or from the 3D model, and we're putting it onto our work plane. So we want to project that corner and that corner. Actually, project the line I'm sorry, project this line. So I'm left clicking, left clicking, left clicking, and left clicking. Okay, that's all we should really need projected. Okay, so now we can use those as points of reference. Okay, we are making another 45, but this one on the front and back face starts 0.75 from the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw a line right now, pinned both ways. Distance from that point down to this point needs to be 0.75. Return. Dimension this side to there needs to be at a 45. Return. And we're going to do the same thing to the other side. There we go. Dimension from here to here needs to be 45. There we go. We hit E to extrude. We want to extrude that and that. Flip it, cutting through the whole object like so. Hit OK, and voila. We now have the object. Okay, and it matches this one. If we get out of the sketch, there we go. So they look the same, and they are. Okay, except this one is set to mild steel. So I'm going to go here to the part. You can come up here to set the whole entire, the material for the whole object up here. Come down here to steel mild, and is now set to mild steel. You can change the finish, but we don't need to do that. It's just that semi-polished. Okay, so to get those material properties, we're going to come over here to this part, the overall part, right-click it, go to Eye Properties, and come over here to the physical part, physical tab. And if nothing is generated in here, just hit Update, and there you go. We have the mass of the object in pounds. We have the area in inches squared. We have this, the volume in inches cubed, surface area inches squared, and then we have the density in grams per centimeter cubed. Units are important. When you're solving, make sure that you're using like units or convert over, and I'll help you with working on that. So at this point, you would take a screenshot. You can come down here, type snipping, open up the snipping tool, click new, select what you want to take a screenshot of, for example, that. You'd hit save it to your desktop, email that to yourself, or just put it into the activity sheet right from the remote access. But I think it'd be easier to just email it or put it into the Google Drive. Okay, so that's where you get that from. From here, in the correct isometric, fit to view, you would take a screenshot of this and put it into the activity sheet also, right here. So you replace this with yours, replace this with yours. And now we're going to answer these questions. Okay. Let's see here. Let me pull this up. All right. So the first question asked if there was remelting of all the machined leftovers, how much would the part cost if it was $6.25 per pound? Well, the Eye Properties say it's this weight, okay, times $6.25 per pound would give us this amount. So on the activity sheet, you can just put 3205 with a dollar sign, and that's the answer. But you need to give a screenshot of how you got that answer. It also asks you for what if it didn't remelt all the scrap pieces, meaning that original mass of the original block, how heavy is that, which is 7.004. I'm going to show you how to get that because you're going to need to be able to do that for the other ones also. Either way, you're going to take that poundage, multiply by 6.25, and that's where you get the not remelted cost of each item. To do that, to get back to that original, I'll just do it on this one. If you right-click on the different features and suppress them, it'll trace it back to that original one, and then you can do the Eye Properties from that original shape. Update, and there's the mass of this whole block, and that's where I got that from. Okay, so let me unsuppress those. So right click, unsuppress, right click, unsuppress, coming back here. Next question said, if you calculated the cost of the lost material, how much would that be? Okay, well, I took the raw material block, poundage, took the mass of the finished block, pounds, got the difference. This is the lost material. This is how heavy the lost material is that is remelted. Well, if you take that and you multiply by 6.25, that's $11.73. That is wasted or is remelted. The other way you could have got that is by looking at the difference between these two. Okay, some people might have jumped right there. Either way, show your work here. So let me back up. B was, what is the weight of the lost material? C is, how much does the lost material cost? Okay, so I did B and C right here. And then finally it says, well, what if you wanted to ship 1,000 of these? How big would the container need to be? In order to do that, you want to use the overall dimensions of that basic block and use that when you're going to ship 1,000 of those. To be more conservative, you want to use that larger shape. So 24.664 inches cubed converted to feet cubed. Okay. Let's see here. The reason we are doing that is coming back to this activity sheet. Gotta get myself situated here. What is the cost of the lost material? What will the volume of a box in cubic feet, that's key, need to be in order to ship 1,000 of them? Okay, so in order to do that, you would need to convert, first and foremost, let's go ahead and into the part, to the I properties, physical. The volume is right here, 17.668 inches cubed. Is that what I needed? Losing myself here. This is, I know what I'm doing. I apologize. Sorry for you guys having to see me do it this way and work through my mistakes, but I'm not making this video again. Let me suppress those features again. Suppress. I wasn't thinking straight here. Go into the part, right click it, I properties, physical, update. That's where I got that overall volume from. Take this volume in inches cubed, and you need to convert that to feet cubed because it's asking for it in feet cubed. In order to do that, you need to convert it. You could do unit conversions that you learned in an IED, or you could just come over here and do inches cubed to feet cubed. And inches cubed, it was, let's see here, 24.664. 24.664, and that's where I'm getting the feet cubed from for one of them. Coming back to the answer key, coming back to my work, right here. There's the feet cubed, so one block, inches cubed, here's the feet cubed equivalent, and we need to ship 1,000 of those. So I took that feet cubed, multiplied by 1,000, and whatever the width, height, and depth of the box is, it would need to equal 14.3 feet cubed. So there's a variety of different boxes and shapes that could make that, but usually it'd be just a rectangular prism type box, and it would need to have that feet cubed amount to fit those 1,000 in. Okay, so that is how you do the assignment. You'd want to take a screenshot of this and put it into here, right below here. And then you'd want to move on to Model 2 and Model 3. Now in the video right now, I'm going to show you how to do Model 2 and Model 3. Okay, so here's Model 2. I'm going to just break the object down as far as how to kind of tackle it. The first thing they did they did a sketch like this. They did an overall sketch. Okay. You can just use the line tool, left click, left click, left click. You can set all these lengths. You can do an angle here, and you can go ahead and make sure that you're doing it at the correct anglage that they want it at. Just making sure that it is. Yep, they have it at 30 degrees. That scared me for a second. Wanted to make sure that that's what it was. Okay. But once you make this overall shape, you're going to extrude it, and you'll extrude it to a distance of, let's see, what does it say on the sheet? 3, hopefully. And yep, it is at 3. Okay, so they extruded it to 3. Next thing they did is they did a sketch on the right side. So let's go ahead and suppress this feature and suppress this feature. And if you do the first one, you'll have this shape. They then did a sketch. Unsuppress. Over on this face. The reason they did that is to make that cut through. Okay, so this large cut through that goes through. It's a 1/2 inch from each side, and it just cuts through the whole object. So they just made a rectangle just larger than that, and they just made sure that that rectangle was started right there on this edge and goes straight up. Okay, so in order to do that, you would want to project geometry for this line, and then this line, and this line, so that you can dimension. If you don't, you won't be able to dimension to anything, because those features are in another sketch. So you're projecting features from one sketch or the object onto your work plane sketch. So make sure that you do that. If not, you won't be able to create this object and anchor it to the sides for the sizing of it. Go ahead and finish it. You would hit E and extrude it all the way through to make that. And then the last thing is you would make the circle right there. In order to do that, you can do a sketch right on that face, following the dimensions that they give you. It's 2.5 from the sides and 1 inch from the front and the back of the inside of that cut. This whole thing is 3, and it's centered. This is a 1/2 and this is a 1/2. So it is from the center to the very, very outside is 1.5. From the center to the inside of the cut is 1. Either way, you can see that they projected geometry, this yellow line and this yellow line, in order to anchor and place this circle here and have it anchored to this line and this line for its location dimensions. Okay, and then they made the circle to 1 inch. So you just use the circle tool, you can place it, and then you dimension it from here to here, from here to this line right there. That is how you make this one. Pretty straightforward. This one, not too bad either. Just going to go over it with you, and of course I'll help you guys in class with these. Go ahead and suppress the feature. Start off with the basic. Okay, so they started with an overall object. They did a sketch of 9x4. They extruded it to an amount of 5 inches. Beautiful block. They then did a sketch on the front face of that. They projected these yellow lines for geometry. So again, the project geometry, click on it, and then you just click, click, and click. When you project those lines, it just puts those lines onto your work plane so you can use them. They went ahead and made 3 rectangles to cut through. They made sure that they were a 1/2 inch spaced apart, like so. This one was 4. This one was 2, and this one was 2 also. And it was a 1/2 inch from the bottom. Okay. They finished the sketch. They hit E to extrude it, and then they extruded through the object, okay, to make those cuts. After they did that, they made a circle that went through it. You're going to go ahead and make a sketch for that. You can just do it right on this face. It's a 1.5 diameter circle, and you can see the location dimensions from the side and the top are right there. You'd use the dimension tool, click on the center and here, drag to the outside, and type 2, the center to here, drag up 2.5 after you place the circle at 1.5. Okay, finish the sketch, hit E to extrude, and instead of extruding this way out, you're going to extrude all the way through to make those 2 cuts. The last thing that you need to be able to do is create these slots here, okay? So I'm going to show you, and then the chamfers. I'm going to show you the slots. Their slots are from the center point to the center point are 2 inches, and then the diameter or the thickness, the wideness, the width of the slot is 0.75. Okay, so half of that would be the radius right there. So it's a 0.75 semicircle that's connected on the ends. But we're going to make that as a slot, and then it would be placed where the center marks are 1.5 from the side, and this one would be 1.5 too. And you can see it right up there. You do it on both, and then you'd go ahead and cut through the object and make that slot. In order to make a slot like that, you just come up here under slot. I go ahead and do a slot center to center. Go ahead and just click and drag down. Then you can let go. And hit 2, tab over, and then place it. And then it's asking how wide you want it. And again, it is 0.75, 0.75. There. So I made that same slot, and then you would go ahead and I would need projected geometry, like this line right there. Hit escape, and then dimension from this center point to that would need to be 1.5. So that's how you would make the slots. And that's that. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. There we go. Finish the sketch. And the last thing we need to do is do these chamfers. So there's a couple different ways to do them. You made chamfers earlier by just doing triangles on a face and cutting those through, but I'm going to actually show you how to do it using this chamfer tool right here. So unsuppressed. There we go. Okay, so in order to make the chamfers, you just click on chamfer. So let me go ahead and unsuppress them. So if you click on chamfer and you wanted to do a chamfer, you can go ahead and bear with me. They're making theirs at a 30-degree angle, and they are 0.5 from. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong object. Oh my goodness. The chamfers are falling apart on the end of this video here. I'm sorry, you guys. Here we go. The chamfers are a 1x1 chamfer. And what that means is that this way it's 1 inch and this way it's 1 inch, which means it would be at a 45. So we're going to use this one, 2 distances. So we click here, and we need to make the distance of 1 and the distance of 1. And you'd hit apply, and you could do that to all of them. You do it there, there, there. Let me unsuppress the others so you can see them. Accept, and then they chamfered the outside edges on the bottom of the plate also. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different chamfers that they did there. This chamfer is getting deleted because it was just on top of another one that was already cut out. Okay, so that's how you make the objects. You're going to answer the questions the same way. All the questions are pertain to the same type of information. If you have a question about that, just let me know. Apologize about the long video, but this should help you out immensely.